At night time, while sitting in the carriage, a girl is excited now that she will finally get to see the Arario's Holy Night Festival. She is getting impatient since she heard that they can find anything in Arario, whether it is a fluffy bread, warm soup, cute dresses, sparkling jewelry, and even a dungeon full of monsters as well as adventurers to slay them. At the same time, we are introduced to our main character who just slayed a monster with his blade. Bel Cranel is a captain from Hestia Familia. As he slays the monster with his blade, the two of his companions get soaked in the monster's blood. As they look at Bel, he just wonders if something is wrong. Bel apologizes and asks them if they are hurt and says that it is just monster blood. Suddenly, one of his companions gives him a headbutt and says that it is not good at all since it is dangerous going up ahead by himself. He is Welf Crusoe, a blacksmith from Hestia Familia. Their other companion, Lilaluka Erd, who is a supporter and a prum, agrees with Welf since it is a dungeon. Bel apologizes to them and says that he just saw one of the quest monsters. Lilaluka interrupts him and asks him to show some restraint. Bel then says that he just wanted to get back quickly so they could buy it for her and got carried away. Welf and Lilaluka understand what he means and say that it is right since they took lots of quests for it, but it would be a shame if it was sold out. Therefore, they decide to hurry up and hunt the rest too. Suddenly, some monsters appeared in front of them and so they had to run. The dungeon is Arario's own one and only underground labyrinth where monsters are born. The magic stones and items taken from monsters are valuable resources. Those who take quests and go into the dungeon are either to gather and sell those resources or to explore the still mostly unknown deep levels of the dungeon. While they continue to run away from the monsters, they suddenly fall into a trap. We are then introduced to Makoto Yamato, who is a scout and jack of all trades from Hestia Familia. She laughs and says that they had traps set but they still are being too careless. They then proceed to take the fight with the monsters. Bel then sneaks up and uses Firebolt to defeat all the monsters. Lilaluka then says that their lead the monsters into the flame plan worked. Those who look up to heroes or who push ever forward that they might be a hero too are called adventurers. Back in Labyrinth City, Arario, someone wearing a robe finally gets what she really wanted. In the evening, at Hestia Familia's house, after the adventurers return, they are surprised to see it all decorated. Haruheim Senjano, who is a Renard and a maid of Hestia Familia, welcomes the adventurers on their return. Bel asks her if she did all of that all by herself. Haruheim says that she has been looking forward to the Holy Night Festival, so she did it all by herself. Bel wonders if it wasn't a lot of work, to which she says that she is the newest member of the Familia, so it is only natural. Welf says that she does not need to worry about stuff like that if she asks him. Haruheim then says that she cannot help but feel like she should. She then remembers that she has a message for her Bel Sama. The goddess requested him to come to her room to have his status updated. To adventurers like Bel, gods and goddesses are the most important beings because adventurers belong to familias, groups made up of people who have received Falna, a deity's blessing. The familias are referred to by the name of their patron deity, and the members receive Falna that increase their abilities, granting them strength to fight even stronger monsters. While entering the room, Bel wonders if he has ever been called in like that before. He feels ominous. As he enters, the goddess welcomes him and asks him to come in. She is Hestia, the patron goddess of Hestia Familia. Bel asks her if it is not a little different than usual. She asks him not to dawdle and just come. Bel lays down on her bed without any clothes on top while she sits over his hips. He wonders if it is just his imagination. Deities, using Ichor, their blood, as a medium, have the power to update the status of adventurers who have gained Excelia, allowing them to level up, gain new skills, and other benefits. Suddenly, the goddess says that it is big and tells him that he has developed a new skill. Bel wonders what sort of skill it is. The goddess then whispers in his ear and tells him that it is a skill that makes him stronger when he whispers sweet nothings to his patron goddess. Bel is surprised to hear that and wonders if there are skills like that too. Hestia tells him to try and see on his own. Therefore, he whispers that he likes the way she always welcomes him back so cheerfully. Suddenly, he feels something. Hestia says that his body has gotten a bit warmer. Bel thinks that the effect might be relative to the strength of what she said and thinks about trying something else. He then says that her lustrous black hair is beautiful. As they continue this, someone enters the room to ask them about something. However, Bel and Hestia keep on going. Bel then climbs up over Hestia and says that he loves her healthy body. The other two are stunned and ask them what are they doing. While Bel and Hestia are hugging, Bel turns around and sees the two of them and says that he has got a new skill, so he is just trying it out. She yells at him and asks what sort of skill develops from playing around in bed. The other girl sees a small bottle on the table and asks her Hestia-sama what is that liquid in it. Hestia instantly jumps towards her while telling her not to touch it. However, he is stopped in between. While pouring it over her hand, she thinks that it is a massage oil to make her sweat. However, Hestia continues to struggle, asking him to let her go. She then says that it was not a status update but just a massage. Bel is shocked to hear that and wonders if the whole skill thing was just a lie. Hestia then says that it was all her Belkun's fault. While Belle wonders what she means by that, she tells him that it is obvious that she wanted him to spend more time with her. She then starts crying while saying that he has been so late coming home lately, and not just Belkun but all of them, so none of them had been spending time with her. They then say that with more people in the familia, they can explore farther and deeper now. Hestia understands that and knows that it is fun, but it is just a little lonely for her. She wanted to hear something reassuring. Hestia then apologizes for being such a pathetic goddess. Belle and others feel bad to hear that and say that they should be the ones apologizing. Belle then tells her that they were not trying to hide it, but they just wanted to give her a Holy Night Festival dress. Belle then tells her that he saw it in the store window and thought it would be perfect for her, but it was pretty expensive. Welf then tells her that Belle said if they were going to get a present then they should get one that would fit her well. Lilaluka then tells her that they took lots of quests to earn the money. Arario's Holy Festival is the one celebration each year where everyone gets all dressed up to eat, sing and dance. Therefore, Belle wanted her to enjoy it too, since she has always been supporting them. Upon hearing all that, Hestia starts to sob as she thanks all of them. She then yells and asks her Belkun to help her change into it. However, Lilaluka did not want to let that happen. At the same time, Haruheim enters the room and says a group work of love. Belle turns around and asks her if something is wrong. She then denies and says that she just thought it was warm, almost like a hearth, to see everyone work together to help someone feeling uneasy because they care about one another, speaking their mind and arguing. It is how true family is. Belle then calls out her name and puts a kimono dress over her. As she wonders what it is, Belle says that it is her first Holy Night Festival, so they got an Eastern-based kimono for her. As she wonders why they would do so for a newcomer such as herself, he tells her that she having recently joined has nothing to do with it, since there is no too fast or too slow to becoming family. She is pleased to hear that, and then they proceed to eat. Haruheim then says that they have potato snacks too. Belle is happy to see everyone getting along so well, since it was just him and the goddess Hestia at first in the church basement, sitting around a small table, eating dinner in a quiet room with only two voices to break the silence. But now, it has grown little by little, and now their home is overflowing with all the different voices. Because of that, there are more issues that they have to consider, but seeing everyone happy makes him happy too. While he makes up his mind that he will have to do his best, he gets called by Hestia as she asks him if he is going to eat. While going to eat with them, he just wonders what their next new encounter will bring. While eating together, Hestia asks her Belkun to show Haruheim the tree in the plaza after eating. Belle asks her why is she suddenly acting like a proper goddess, and so she yells at him saying that nobody asked him for that. Belle then takes Haruheim to show her the tree in the plaza. On their way, Belle asks her what she thinks of their first Holy Night Festival. Seeing all the decorations, she says that it is wonderful. It is pleasant and beautiful, and the whole town is aglow. Haruheim asks her Belle-sama if they can get closer. Belle agrees with her and asks her to be careful not to get separated since there are a lot of people. At the same time, Belle hopes that for them and for whomever they meet, it will be a nice one. As they get closer and see the tree, Haruheim and the girl standing beside her say that it is pretty. Haruheim turns around and sees her. At the same time, a kid loses his balloon and it gets stuck over the tree. Haruheim and the other girl see each other. She goes near Haruheim and says that it is so pretty. At the same time, someone is hiding behind a wall and proceeds to leave while finding it revolting. The girl that Belle and Haruheim met was beautiful and mysterious. Belle is unable to look away. He wonders if she has come from outside. Thinking that she is coming towards him, he wonders if he is staring too much and starts to apologize, saying that he was just captivated. However, she goes to Haruheim and asks her if she is a Renard after noticing those ears. Belle calms himself down after he finds out that it was about Haruheim. There are all sorts of races in the world: humans, beast folk, elves, dwarves, Amazons, and many more. But Renards are particularly rare. Belle feels embarrassed about the fact that he jumped to conclusions. At the same time, the girl tells Haruheim that she has some Renard blood too. Belle is amazed to hear that since Haruheim is a Renard. Renards have high magic, and Haruheim has the Uchide no Kazuchi magic, which increases the level of the people she targets. Because of that, she has been hunted by people wanting to use her power. Belle thinks that if she is also a Renard, then she has probably been through a lot too. Haruheim then says that she is deeply moved to think that she would meet a fellow Renard. However, as they continue to talk, Belle falls into deep thoughts now that he notices the horns and thinks that he has never ever heard of a Renard with horns. Wondering if Haruheim also has horns, Belle proceeds to check it, but she feels teased, so he apologizes. At the same time, the other girl asks them if the two of them are dating. Belle and Haruheim are stunned to hear that, and Belle tells her that he is just her escort. She then wonders if he was not just flirting with her. Therefore, Belle clarifies that he was just trying to check whether she is really a Renard like Haruheim. Upon hearing that, she says that if he is protecting someone important to him, then he has to be careful. She apologizes for acting so overfamiliar and introduces herself as Tarvi. To Belle, she does not seem like a bad person. Tarvi then says that it is true that she has some Renard blood, but it is mixed with lots of other races, so it might be hard to tell. Wondering if she has any Renard traits anywhere, she tries to look inside her dress. Belle and Haruheim are shocked to see that. As she continues to search for something somewhere she cannot see, they tell her that it is okay already. Suddenly, Belle hears someone telling the soldiers to find her whatever it takes. As he wonders what they are since he does not recall seeing them before, Tarby tries to hide under Belle since they will find her. Belle wonders if they are searching for her. Haruheim asks her why is she being followed. Belle then wonders if it is because of the Renard's power like with Haruheim. Suddenly, the soldiers spot her and the guy tells them to hurry up and not to lose her. Belle grabs their arms and proceeds to hide with them. Once they are gone, Haruheim calls out for Belle and tells him that it hurts the way he has held their arms. Belle feels embarrassed and apologizes. Haruheim is deeply moved to see that he touched her. Belle then says that it might be dangerous to stay outside like that and suggests to Tarby that it would be better to go back for the night. However, she says that she does not want to go back yet and asks Belle if he could protect her since she has been looking forward to that day for a long time. Belle tries to deny it by saying that he is already escorting Haruheim. However, Haruheim says that they cannot abandon someone in need and she would like to talk with her a bit more. Tarby is pleased to hear that. Seeing Haruheim request him so much, Belle agrees to protect her if it is not too much trouble. Tarby thanks Belle and asks the other Renard for her name. Haruheim then introduces herself to her. Belle realizes that it looks like it is not just protecting, he has another important job and that is to watch over this new meeting. Tarby holds Haruheim's hand and says that it is nice to meet her. Finally, they decide to blend into the crowd and keep moving. As they keep going, they enjoy and even buy masks. Suddenly, the soldiers also come after her but they successfully escape. As they continue, Belle asks Tarby if it is her first time in Arario. Tarby then tells them that it is rather her first time out of her country. She then tells them that her country does not interact much with others but she got special permission this time in celebration of her becoming an adult. Being able to walk around outside like that is a dream come true for her. Therefore, Belle orders one of the limited edition festival flavor dishes. Seeing her like that, Haruheim and Belle remember how she was before. Her thoughts raced imagining the outside world as well. Belle then says that it is not just being Renards. She and Tarby might really resemble each other. While she gets her dish, Belle notices that the soldiers have come to the scene. He quickly grabs Tarby's arm and hides with them. If they go out now, they will see them but Tarby is more worried about not getting the festival flavor potato snack yet. Suddenly, he hears someone's voice and recalls it. He gets up a bit and sees the shopkeeper saying to the goddess that if the girl who ordered that festival one comes by, give it to her for him. Belle is surprised to see their goddess. Tarby is shocked to see a goddess doing a part-time job. Belle then tells her that their familia has a lot of debt. Belle wonders if she could bring that potato snack to them. He tries to tell her in actions that the festival flavor snack is theirs. However, Hestia understands it as if he is saying I love you to her. He then tries to tell her in actions that they want to eat the festival flavor ones but she understands it as if he is saying that he loves her so much that he could gobble her up. Then he tries to tell her if she could please bring it over but she understands it as if he is telling her to come into his arms. As she jumps towards him, he just grabs the bag of festival flavor snacks and proceeds to run since they need to get away from there quickly. Hestia wonders why he is running away and notices the girl beside him. At the same time, the soldiers notice her and proceed to catch her. However, Hestia runs faster than them while calling Belle a jerk for cheating on her. Belle wonders why is she chasing them too. Haruheim apologizes and says that she is not used to such an outfit so she cannot run as well. Belle says that he will hold them off to buy them some time. However, they already somehow manage to lose them. He asks Haruheim and Tarby if they too are alright. Tarby then starts laughing uncontrollably and says that it has been a long time since she ran like that and she never would have imagined a goddess chasing her too. Haruheim is also happy about all that. When Haruheim proceeds to say something about the festival that she wanted to enjoy, Tarby says that she is happy to be able to explore it with friends. Haruheim does not get it at first. Tarby apologizes and says that it was selfish of her. She says that she was just thinking maybe they had become friends and so she requests her to forget what she said. They then decide to have that potato snack. Belle thinks that it does not seem like a misunderstanding as anyone who saw the two of them just now would think that they are friends. Haruheim says that she is happy to have been able to see the holy festival with a friend as well. She then apologizes for grabbing her hand just like that. Tarby then assures her that it is fine since she has done it plenty of times already. Belle at the same time thinks that he is grateful for his goddess's rampage in a way. Suddenly, Tarby slips and is about to fall into the fountain water. However, Belle manages to not let her get soaked. She is worried to see that Belle is drenched and says that even if he is guarding them, he does not have to go that far. Belle then says that it has nothing to do with that since she is Haruheim's friend. She then lends him her hand to get him out and tells him that she likes him. She thanks him for hiding her when they were almost found out too. She really likes him because he protected him. Haruheim starts to panic as she says that it is true that Belle is kind and cool and alluring, but that is so sudden. Tarby then sits along Belle and tries to dry him off using her handkerchief while saying that if he does not dry off, he will catch a cold. Haruheim feels uneasy to see that, and so she also starts to wipe him with her handkerchief. Tarby asks Haruheim if she also likes Belle. Belle is stunned to hear that and says that someone as wonderful as Haruheim would not like him. Seeing her blush like that, Belle thinks that it has to be a dream, but even if it is a dream, it sounded like Tarby was confessing to him just now too, which would mean a love triangle. He wonders what he would do even if a rift formed between them. Haruheim then proceeds to run away without saying anything. She thinks that Belle might have realized her ugly feelings, but even worse is to be jealous of a friend she just made. She considers herself as horribly base. Suddenly, some people find her alone and consider her as an easy mark stumbled into their lap. They go to her from behind and bump into her. She falls down and the guy says that he might have broken a bone there, so she will have to pay for the hospital fees. As she tries to defend herself by saying that he ran into her, the guy tries to hit her while telling her to quit whining and say that she will take responsibility. Haruheim considers it as her punishment. However, Tarby and Belle come to the scene to protect her. Tarby then says that it is not punishment but just evil. Belle tells Tarby to get behind him as it is dangerous. Tarby says to the bullies that showing off their strength, acting tough, and bullying those without strength is just pathetic and embarrassing. She hates people like them and tells them to apologize to her friend. Haruheim is amazed to see how upright, kind, and strong is Tarby. She wonders if it is right for someone so weak-hearted as her to be her friend. Belle pats her and says that it is not that she is strong. It is that she can become strong for someone important to her. The bullies decide to fight with them. However, one of them recognizes Belle since he has seen him before. He wonders if he is the adventurer who reached level 2 in just a month and a half, the record holder who reached level 3 after winning in that war game. He recognizes him as the little rookie. Without any further ado, Belle fights them off and easily defeats them. They are left alive by Belle. He then goes near them and requests them not to do that sort of thing again. Wondering what to do about these guys, Haruheim decides to help as well. While Belle thinks of reporting them to the guild first, he sees Haruheim bringing a crate full of fruits to throw at them. Belle calms her down and tells her that it is all okay now that they are all unconscious. Haruheim feels bad to think that even though they both protected her, in the end, she could not do anything for either of them. She wanted to help both of them. Tarby then asks her not to be so hard on herself. Tarby then says that she likes Belle and appreciates Haruheim's feelings, so she likes her too. Belle and Haruheim are stunned to hear that. Seeing that there might be some misunderstandings, Tarby clarifies that whenever she thinks that she likes someone, she always says so immediately because she does not want any regrets because she might never see them again. Because she wants them to know that she is grateful. So, she takes any chance she gets to tell the people she likes just how much she likes them. Belle then understands that the like that Tarby and Haruheim were talking about was a sense of gratitude, not love. That makes more sense to him now that it was just his misunderstanding. At the same time, Tarby whispers to Haruheim that her liking Belle is not that sort of like, so she does not have to worry about it. Haruheim is happy to hear that. Belle asks them what the two of them are talking about. They say that it is their little secret. In any case, Belle is happy to see that Haruheim has really broken the ice. As they continue to talk, Belle says that he was surprised when he saw her leap out like that and asks Tarby if she was not scared. She then says that she was not really scared since it is only natural to put your life on the line for someone you like. Suddenly, the soldiers come to the scene and finally capture Tarby. Belle then tries to save her from them. The knights finally capture Tarby. Belle wonders how they found them and what he should be doing now. The guy says that she should not escape again and calls her princess. Belle is stunned to see them call her princess. The knights start to cry and say that they were so worried about her. One of the knights calls the guy Shrimp and asks him why he is clinging onto the princess. He yells and tells him not to call his captain a shrimp. The knight asks the princess to come to them instead of the scrawny captain. At the same time, Belle wonders about Tarby being a princess. She then clarifies that she is a princess. On the second day of the Holy Night Festival, they sit together to talk. Belle is amazed to know that she is really the princess of another country and it was her guards chasing her. Ascali, captain of the National Familia Beltane, who is also an elf, says that as they mentioned last night, she is the princess of their country. Beltane and he is the Familia's captain. Ascali and those armored knights are useless soldiers who are Tarby's royal guards. Things start to heat up between the knights and Ascali as the knights ask him what he is calling them useless for since he did not notice when the princess went missing. Ascali in his defense says that they did not notice either. The princess requests them to not fight over her, but they instead yell over her, telling her not to act like the heroine since this all happened only because she decided to run off. The princess managed to escape because they were all drunk and exhausted in the carriage, so they could not have kept up with her anyway. They yell at her once again, asking if she really expects them to say, "Oh, how thoughtful of you, princess." Belle and Haruheim find them quite energetic. At last, the princess says that she does not regret it since she got to meet Haruhime and Belle after all. Ascali calls out for the princess and grabs her hand while saying that it is just for this one time only. The princess tries to act cute as she asks him to at least let her have 3 times. Ascali gets frustrated and says that perhaps he should take that one back. At first, Belle was not sure what would happen, but fortunately, they are all good people. The princess tells Ascali and Belle that she will head out first to do some shopping. Belle asks her to wait for them while Ascali mutters that it is just for that day only. Belle asks him if he has said something. Bluntly speaking, Ascali says that he does not trust all of them at all. It is obvious that even though he did protect her from those ruffians, that was all because he carried the princess around the town without permission. Therefore, according to Ascali, Belle cannot possibly be trusted. He then says that he shall tolerate it for the day, but henceforth tells Belle not to involve himself with the princess. The princess shouts at Ascali. However, he says that she is too loud and she will be thought a country bumpkin. She asks him what she means by that since she is that only. Suddenly, Belle gets a thought that Haruhime and Tarbi had just started getting along. And not just that, he wanted to get along with someone who was a fellow captain too. Suddenly, someone greets Belle. He is amazed to see goddess Tsubaki Kalbrand, captain of Hephaestos Familia, who is a half-dwarf, and Take Mikazuchi, patron god of Take Mikazuchi Familia. He asks Belle if he is enjoying the festival. She then asks him why he has a long face. Belle then tells her the truth that he has a bit of a problem. Hypothetically speaking, he asks what should be done to get forgiveness if someone dragged a member of another familia around the town without permission and that familia's captain got mad at them. He thinks that his goddess has lived a long life, so he is sure that she has some good advice. However, she says that she would never forgive them. Just the thought of them being carried off by that woman makes her tremble in anger. She is a smith. If one of her weapons was stolen from her, she would split them with her hammer. If one of her precious children were kidnapped, it would be an all-out war. She then says that she was imagining if it was him. As she continues to speak, she notices Belle running away. Recalling that Ascali told him not to involve himself with the princess, Belle does not find it good at all. They both are captains, no more than that. They are both familia members and he cannot let things stay that way. The princess and Haruhime could not help but stare at Belle and Ascali as Belle says that he thinks that it is important for them to get to know each other. Therefore, Belle grabs a lot of hero story books and suggests them to Ascali. However, Ascali says that he is quite alright. Belle then asks him if he has any hobbies that he would like to chat about, but Ascali shows no interest in doing so. Haruhime and Tarbi just wonder what they are doing. While standing near a grill, Tarbi says that it is such a waste to never see such a pretty sky again. Haruhime then says that it really is lovely weather. The princess had never seen anything like that giant tower piercing the blue sky, and the big city with so many houses in Beltane. To see something that pretty with everyone, together with Haruhime, she is really happy, and so is Haruhime. The knights start to cry seeing their sweet friendship and decide not to get in her way. Seeing their beautiful friendship, a shopkeeper asks them to buy some souvenirs to remember that day. He daresays that the bangles would be perfect for the occasion. Haruhime and Tarbi are excited about it. Haruhime then asks Tarbi if they could buy a matching pair if she does not mind it at all. She thinks that it would be lovely to celebrate looking at the blue sky together. Tarbi agrees with her and says that yesterday was a real shit show. Suddenly, someone comes from behind, and the shopkeeper says that he told him not to show his face in the shop since an ugly mug like that would put the customers on guard. The man then says to his big bro that he hooks another sucker. Seeing him look so pathetic, the shopkeeper asks him what happened to him. Before he can say anything, he sees Haruhime and Tarbi whom he saw last night. He then says to his big bro that it is them. The shopkeeper finds it the perfect timing and decides to thank those girls for all that they have done. When Tarbi asks the shopkeeper for the price of the bracelets, he says that those are a little bit on the steep side since they are 10 million volleys each. Tarbi and Haruhime are shocked to hear that since they cannot possibly afford them at that price. However, the shopkeeper says that just for that, he can offer a different method of payment. At the same time, Chigusa Hitachi from Take Mikazuchi Familia, who is an old friend of Haruhime, happens to be nearby and notices Haruhime's voice. She hears the shopkeeper say that if they could do a bit of physical labor for him, he can give them those bracelets. However, it is a special one-time offer, so he would have to insist them to keep it a secret from others. Tarbi says that she would have to at least tell their escort about that, but the shopkeeper insists and tells her not to worry. To convince them, he says that he is quite indebted to Belle Cranel-sama and he intends to invite him as well shortly. He then asks them again to follow him. Chigusa panics to see that and hides away. On the other hand, Bell cannot stop wondering what he can do since he is unable to get on his good side at all. He apologizes to Haruheim and Tarby as he considers himself useless. Ascali then finally says that Beltane is a country that has not interacted with others for a long time. It is called a country, but a small community among the mountains. Every member knows one another like a small village. Their ancestors had protected that land through the generations for hundreds of years. They believe that the land is more important than anything is for other countries. Interactions just breed pointless conflicts. Therefore, he believes that there is no meaning in getting along with someone from another country like him. Suddenly, the soldiers come to the scene and tell them that the princess has vanished. At the same time, Chigusa comes to the scene too and tells Belle that she just saw Haruheim and another girl on one of the side streets. Some guy there said if they did some physical labor for him, he would give them bracelets and invited them into the back. The shopkeeper invites the two of them into a basement while telling them to watch their steps. The guy says that it is a rough way to put it as physical labor. That place is packed with goons who have not had a girl in ages. He just wonders when they will get out. He thinks that he can just enjoy watching the little rookie running around in a panic. However, they come to the scene and the shop falls over him. Ascali calls himself a fool for getting himself distracted and losing track of her. Bell, on the other hand, calls it his fault since he lost sight of what was truly important. While Ascali says that he just wants to see her smile, Bell says that he just wants to make her happy, and then they say that they are fools in sync. As they enter the basement, they see the two of them tied up and burst out of rage. The shopkeeper says that a band of heroes had come to rescue a pair of princesses. As he says they cannot do with just the two of them, they destroy everything. The people there say that they are not heroes at all but rather demons like in Eastern books. The shopkeeper tries to scare them but it is already too late for him. He finds his brother defeated and both the girls saved. Before he could do anything, Bell and Ascali beat him. They give a high five to each other for making it happen. Ascali then notices that they just got along. Bell runs toward Haruheim and Tarby and asks them if they are alright. He is happy to see that both of them are safe. The shopkeeper tries to sneak out. At the same time, Liu Leon, a powerful former adventurer who is currently an employee at the Benevolent Mistress, comes to the scene while looking for her Carnel-san. While she wonders what just happened, Belle tells her that the man is an abductor. As he tries to escape, Liu kicks him and defeats him. She grabs him and says that she is afraid that she cannot let him escape. He apologizes and says that he will give them whatever they want in the shop in exchange for forgiveness. Liu says that no matter what he does, she will turn him over to the guild. Knowing that the shop is done, he tells the girls to take whatever they want. As Ascali proceeds to punish him, Tarby stops him and says that it is not good to blame someone who has decided to face their fate and says that it is her fault that they went along without saying anything. Haruheim says that she was lured in too. Now that they have come to save them, Tarby asks them to pick what they want. Haruheim agrees with her and suggests they pick something that would help them pay off their debt. As they look around and think about picking something that looks valuable, Bell suggests the bracelets to them. He tells them that Chigusa happened to see the two of them and he remembered that she mentioned the two of them talking about bracelets, so he thought that it might be that matching pair. Although he is correct about it, Haruheim says that there are a lot of other things that look valuable too. Bell then says that he thinks that something they decided they wanted is more valuable than something they would just sell right away. Memories are something they cannot just buy even if they want to, but usually people would not want to remember getting conned. Upon hearing that, Ascali recalls the time when Tarby told him that she wanted to go to Arario. At that time, Ascali said to her that if there is anything she wants, then they can have a traveling merchant provide it there only. Tarby then told him that what she wants are memories and they cannot be bought because they cannot be lost. Haruheim then says that they can always remember their gratitude to their saviors with those bracelets. Ascali is deeply moved by all this and he smiles. Bell is amazed to see him smiling. Ascali then says that not being able to trust someone who thinks like his lady would be poor form for a retainer, and his sword is as upright as his words. Beltane's knights are loyal warriors, and so he asks Bell to let him show his respect for his simple honesty and says that if it would not trouble him, as a familiar captain, he would like to exchange ideas with him. Bell is quite happy to hear that and agrees with him. On the other hand, Tarby talks with Liu and says that she is curious about her restaurant's food. Liu then says that she can vouch for Mia's cooking. At night, everyone goes to her restaurant to enjoy their time. They enjoyed food, the knights had an arm wrestling match, and the princess and Haruheim talked a lot. Ascali was happy to see them enjoy. Suddenly, he hears someone's voice. On the other hand, Bell wanders around looking for Ascali as he wants to talk with him right away. He then finds him outside and goes towards him, but he sees another guy standing in front of Ascali and wonders who he is. The guy grabs Ascali's clothes, pushes him towards the wall and says that it looks as if he has made some new friends. Bell rushes towards them and asks him to let go of Ascali. The guy asks who he is and what he thinks about the people from Beltane. Bell says that everyone that he has met has been kind and caring, and he honestly thinks that they all are great people. The guy calls him an idiot and says that it is the wrong answer. Bell feels like he has been cut, but he did not. The guy then says that they are just cold-blooded killers and that the next time, he will cut him down for sure and tells him to get lost. Bell recalls his encounter with the guy with a blindfold who told him that they are just cold-blooded killers. When Bell does not make any movement, the guy proceeds to attack him with his sword. Before he could do anything, he was already in his range and suddenly, he gets hit with a snowball. It is day 3 of the festival where he is sitting in the middle of a snowball fight. Hestia yells at Bell, asking him what he is doing as the battle has already begun. Bell then comes back to his senses and realizes that they are helping the people of Beltane experience their first snowball fight. Suddenly, Haruheim slips in the snow and falls over Bell. He gets her up and asks if she is alright. She then says that she should be asking that to him since she is unhurt. While Bell reminds him that it is just a game so she does not have to force herself, Haruheim interrupts him and says that they have to be serious precisely because it is a game. She has decided to give it their all as if they were heading to the dungeon so that Tarby-sama and the others will have lovely memories to look back on. At the same time, Tarby agrees with her and says that if they do not focus, their team forged in the land of Beltane will crush him in a heartbeat. However, at the same time, Take Mikazuchi says that they shall be the victors with their eastern pride and weed-like tenacity. As he says that a snowball fight is not that serious, he understands it and thinks that it would be rude for him not to take it seriously as well. Therefore, Team Hestia also gets ready. After a tough snowball fight, only Haruheim, Bell, and Tarby were the last ones standing. Seeing that it is a 2-on-1 battle now, it does not seem to be good for Tarby. However, she is determined to not give up. She pulls out a scarf and ties it over her head and says that it is because she is as cool as Ladari when she fights. Upon seeing that scarf, Bell feels uneasy. Haruheim asks him what is the matter. He says that he just realized that it was not a dream. The last night, after realizing that he was not cut and it was just an illusion, Tarby comes to the scene with one of her knights. She sees him and calls it perfect timing since she was just looking for him and asks him to grab dinner. Bell asks Tarby if she knows him. Tarby agrees and decides to introduce him. His name is Ladari and he is the vice captain of Beltane. He is always trying to look cool and talking about complicated things. Ladari then says that even he is a jester in the princess' presence. As he proceeds to leave, Tarby says that the tavern is the other way, but he declines the offer and says that the taverns in that city are too noisy. Bell then realizes that he is one of their comrades. As he asks what that was just now, Ladari warns him and tells him not to get too involved. Tarby asks Ascali what happened and he tells her that he drank a little too much. In the present, Bell is just unable to get what he said out of his mind. The killers and that warning still haunt him. Suddenly, Tarby comes to Bell and asks if he is tired and if he does not want to play anymore. While he says that it is not like that, Aisha Belka, who became a member of Hermes Familia after conversion, grabs Bell from behind and asks him to tell her that he just cannot get excited to play with a little girl. As she whispers in Bell's ear, he feels uneasy and tells her to stop. Tarby then says that she is an adult and not a little girl. Aisha then asks her to pardon her in that case. She then asks Bell if they are the ones who have been hanging around Haruheim lately. She then says that her power is something people will be after for sure if they find out about it, and so she asks him if he is not being a little too careless letting outsiders get close to her so easily. Bell recalls that when Haruheim was being targeted, Aisha even went so far as to go against her own familia to protect her, and she still watches out for her. Bell asks her if she means that they are after Haruheim and then says that it cannot be like that. Aisha then says that she did not say that, but she is asking why he is letting his guard down. Bell could not clearly answer that at first. On the other hand, Haruheim and Tarby just wonder what Bell and Aisha could be talking about. Aisha then grabs Tarby from her shoulders and says that she will now be on her team. Bell and Haruheim are surprised to hear that as Aisha says they too can now get serious and not hold back. Moreover, Aisha suggests they make the loser do one thing for the winner. Tarby finds it fun and agrees to do so. In that case, Aisha says that if she wins then they will hand over Haruheim. Upon hearing that, Tarby says that Haruheim is so popular. She asks her not to tease her. Tarby realizes that it is not just a joke since Aisha's eyes are dead serious. Bell asks Haruheim to support him from the front, which basically means support from the rear by making snowballs. Bell knows that he cannot afford to lose. However, Aisha plays a trick and makes him lose his guard even though he manages to dodge the snowball. She then tells him that his first weak point is that he is an easy prey for women and says that at that rate, it will be over before they even get started. Bell realizes that she is breaking his concentration. He makes up his mind to not get distracted by her looks. Thinking about what can be done to not get distracted, he gets the idea of blindfolding himself. When Aisha comes closer to Bell's hiding spot and wonders if he is seriously hiding, Bell comes out of his hiding. Aisha could not understand when he got so assertive. In actuality, he was not assertive. He apologizes to her for tricking her. By the time she notices that Belle has a blindfold, it is too late for Aisha and she gets soaked in snow. Haruheim and Belle think that they really did it. However, both of them get hit with snowballs by Tarvi, who has really won the game. The winner is the Tarvi pair. The knights get up and cheer her for being so cool. As Aisha gets up, she says that it is not exactly how she planned it, but a win is a win. Therefore, she will be taking Haruheim, but first, she asks Tarvi what she wants. Belle then realizes that it was not just for Haruheim, but she is suspicious of Tarvi and her familia. Thinking that she has got the wrong idea and that Tarvi is not their enemy, Belle tries to interrupt. However, Tarvi had wished to dress up like Aisha. After getting dressed up like her, she asks her knights and Ascali how she looks in it and wonders if she cannot pull it off. While Ascali says that it is far too revealing, the knights cheer her up for looking great and gorgeous. Aisha is disappointed that she wanted to look like her and finds it a weird request. Tarvi then says that she thought that if she was more like her, then Belle might react more strongly. Hestia and Ascali dash over to Belle and ask him what she is talking about and what he intends to do to the princess. Belle yells and says that he would not do anything. Tarvi on the other hand says that she is always behind everyone else, so there are a lot of things that she cannot see. When she saw how serious Aisha's eyes were while fighting, she wondered just how big the world she saw was, and she wanted to get a glimpse of it too. Aisha is stunned to hear that. Tarvi soon realizes that it might be a bit too soon for her as she shivers in the cold. Ascali asks her to take his stomach warmer, but Tarvi denies it by saying that it is too ugly. Aisha then says that she can have fun getting strong on her own and proceeds to leave. What just happened totally killed her mood. She passes by Belle while running her finger over his neck and says that just because someone is nice does not mean that they will only do good things. She tells him that he has another weakness, which is his indecisiveness. It worries her whether that will get in the way when it is time to take action. Belle understands it and agrees with her since Ladai's words are still bothering him. Therefore, he slaps himself on both sides of his face, which even shocks Aisha. When she asks him what was that about, Belle just thanks her and says that he will believe in himself. She then just asks him to do his best and leave while calling him a coward boy. During the night, Ascali finally finds out where Ladari has been. Ladari calls him boss and apologizes for getting heated before. Ascali denies it and says that he was in the right, but this trip is her last wish, so he decided to not interject as much as possible. Even if he hits him, that is not going to change. Ladai then says that this stupid trip will soon be over, and when they go back to their country, their dearest wish will be fulfilled. While heading back, Ascali says that it is dinner time and he should show his face occasionally. Thinking about the dearest wish, he finds it right. On the other hand, someone is heading toward Aurelio in a carriage. She feels bored and says that it is taking forever as Aurelio is so far away. The other person apologizes humbly and says that they will arrive soon. She then says that she is not blaming her and calls it a bumpy ride. Wondering why she has to go there anyway, the other girl says that she imagines the princess would be happier if she were to come get her, Birasama. She then says that everyone in the country is grateful for the princess. If it would make her happy, then they would do anything they could for her, and so she requests her Birasama to greet her with a big smile. Bira thinks that it is an order and hangs her through the window while telling her that she despises being given orders and she just absolutely hates it. She hates it so much that she can even lose her head. The girl tries to justify herself by saying that it is just for the princess. Bira says that they are really thinking I'm glad I'm not her. What they feel towards the princess is not gratitude but pity, and calls her a hypocrite. The door opens and she almost falls out, but Bira grabs her hand and says that it is all that she got, so she better be real careful. In the Hestia familia's home, Hestia drops her tea upon hearing about Bira. Bira is apparently the deity leading Beltane. She assumes that they would probably have a hard time with her. She then says to Take that he knows that she is not good with her. Take then says that there were a couple of other points that came up when he was looking through old records. There does not seem to be a throne in the country of Beltane. Instead of a king, their deity exercises the political authority of the country. Though at best guess, it is probably closer in scale to a settlement than a country. Upon hearing that, Hestia wonders what Tarvi is, since they call her princess and care that much about her. Take is not sure either on that point, but if she is not actually of a noble standing, then they just wonder why it is like that. Suddenly, Hestia asks Take if he noticed that Tarvi is mixed. It appears to be likely intentionally and even obsessively. Take asks her if she is going to tell Haruheim and the others. Hestia quickly drinks her tea and declines it while saying that they are the ones to decide what to do when they part. While sitting together in the library, Tarvi says to Haruheim that she has basically never left her country, so she imagined the world outside while reading books. Haruheim completely understands what she means by that. She then tells her that long ago, she was also not allowed to leave her family's estate, and she imagined the outside while reading books, but there was a time when she stopped reading her favorite hero stories. She did not think she was worthy to touch such beautiful works. Then Tarvi whispers in her ear and says that then her hero appeared and teases her. Tarvi holds Haruheim's face and says that she has such a gentle, warm, and beautiful look whenever she talks about Belle. She is sure that it is true love. Tarvi then asks Haruheim if she has told him about how she feels, to which she asks her not to be absurd since she is just satisfied with having been saved. She thinks that if she told him about her feelings then it would just trouble him, so she is fine with just being at his side. However, Tarvi interrupts her in between and asks her if she remembers what she said to her and Belle when she first met them. Haruheim recalls that Tarvi said that whenever she thinks she likes someone, she always says so immediately because she does not want any regrets because she might never see them again, so she takes any chance she gets to tell the people how much she likes them. Tarvi then says that she heard Take Mikazuchi mention something about once-in-a-lifetime encounters, and she thinks that it is right since you do not know if the person you met the same day will be there the next day or not, so that makes the moment right now all the more precious. Haruheim is deeply moved after hearing that. Tarvi then apologizes for interrupting her in between and asks about the stories that she would recommend to her. Haruheim grabs Tarvi's hands and says that she really likes her. Tarvi says that she should tell that to Belle instead of her, to which Haruheim says that she is the person she wants to tell right now and she thanks her for teaching her so many important things. Tarvi is stunned to hear that. She trembles as she says that she is really happy to hear that and says that she should thank her too since she is glad that she got the chance to meet her. It was a lovely holy present and finds it like a dream, a traumare. Seeing them hug, Ascali realizes that the Renard, Haruheim, might become an obstacle for the princess. He drops the book that he had and Belle sees it. As he turns around to leave, Belle goes after him and asks him if something has happened. Ascali responds by saying nothing. Seeing Belle persist, Ascali gets irritated and asks him not to trouble himself over it. By the time Belle understood what Ascali was feeling, then when he realized that there was not enough time, the excitement of the festival was already long past. On the final day of the Holy Night Festival, everyone gathers near the tree to see Tarvi off. She is also pleased to see that she managed to make lots of friends along the way. At the same time, Ascali decides to go and meet Bira-sama. Belle goes after him to ask him about what happened on the last day. At the same time, Liu also comes to the scene. Seeing a fellow elf, Ascali says that they were quite indebted to her while they were staying there and asks what she wants. To which, Liu asks him if she can ask him a question regarding Tarvi's origin before he leaves. She says that she is not as long-lived an elf as him and is a youngster instead. However, she has never met anyone of a race like her. She considered the possibility of her being mixed, but that does not seem to be the case to her. Therefore, Liu asks him what is Tarvi-sama. Ascali turns around and says that it is a difficult question to answer, but he can at least address her concerns. He then says that the princess is not of any race. The princess is the princess and that is enough for them. Belle and Liu are surprised to hear that. Suddenly, Bira comes to the scene and says that someone said her princess's name just now. Belle could not understand what happened and found her sitting upon him. Belle then asks her who she is, but realizing that she said my princess, he understands that she is the patron deity of Tarvi's familia. As she walks away, Belle asks her what it means that Tarvi does not have a race. Bira says that it is just like it sounds. Seeing his question again, Bira decides to finally answer him. On the other hand, Chigusa says to Tarvi that it is so sad that they just became friends. Tarvi says that the promise was always just for the festival anyway. A little later, Haruheim asks Tarvi if she will come and enjoy the festival with them again next year. She says that she will be waiting for her again next year. Tarvi could not say anything to her and simply smiled while looking at her. Haruheim is confused to see her like that. At the same time, Bira tells Belle that Tarvi is a sacrifice. Belle and Liu are stunned to hear from Bira that Tarvi is a sacrifice and she will be sacrificed in the next ritual that will be carried out in Beltane. Ascali yells at Bira and asks her why she says that since they are outsiders. Bira says that it is because he asked her and he has been with her for long enough to know why she does things. She then says that if he was going to be that on edge then he should not have brought her to Arario. Ascali simply agrees with her. As Bira decides to leave and get her princess, she is stopped by Belle and Liu. Belle asks her about the ritual. Liu says that she cannot just see Tarvi off without an explanation. Bira turns around in anger and asks if that was an order. Talk about a downer, she asks her knights to repel those brats. Belle tries to go after Bira but he is stopped by the knights. They swing their swords and create a boundary. One of the knights then says that by Lady Bira's order, the moment they attempt to pass that boundary, they will go all out to stop them and they cannot guarantee their survival. The knights surround them from both sides. Ascali then says that it is just until the princess leaves Arario. He requests them to not resist and cause unnecessary blood to be spilled. Layu says to Belle that they seem to be serious. Belle understands that they are entirely different from the kindly knights before and things will not end safely if they try to force their way through. They cannot advance or retreat. Therefore, Belle and Layu plan something. While Ascali says to the knights that he will leave both of them to them, Belle and Layu prepare themselves. As the knights also prepare themselves, Belle shoots Firebolt on the ground, opening a path to escape while Layu quickly dashes and climbs up. Belle knows that they need to reach Tarvi now and they do not have time to fight. There is also too much that they do not know about Beltane, so he just needs to hurry to find out. On the other hand, seeing Tarvi smile like that, Haruheim is confused. She says that she just felt something off. At the same time, Bira comes to the scene and hugs Tarvi from behind. She says that she came all the way there to get her. Tarvi thanks Bira for coming and says that she is always so nice. While Haruheim wonders who she is, Bira asks Tarvi if Auraria was boring. To which, Tarvi smiles and denies it while saying that she is rather really happy. Upon hearing that, Bira says that she was thinking if that Renard had something mean to her. Haruheim then says that she would never do something like that to a friend. While Bira wonders what Haruheim means by a friend, Tarvi says that she is a friend that she made in Oreo. Bira considers her as an interesting one and asks her to be her friend as well to kill some time. Haruheim is a bit terrified to hear that. At the same time, Bira notices some familiar faces. It is Hestia and Take trying to disguise themselves in front of the restaurant. Take is surprised to see that she came herself. Hestia tells Take to go first. While Bima just stares at them, they both whisper to each other, and then Take finally comes out and says that it has been a while. Upon seeing him, Bira tries to recall him but she fails, which really hurts Bira. After he tells her that he is Take Mikazuchi, she finally remembers and says that she will try to remember it if she thinks she will meet again. Take feels really hurt and falls down on his knees. Hestia tries to encourage her. Bira says that she remembers Hestia but not that hairstyle and asks if it was not a dumb-looking pigtail style. Hestia then removes her disguise and asks her who is she calling dumb. Bira then says that it is more like that, though the might be a bit off. Hestia then says that it was not just her hair and asks if she left an impression of herself too. Seeing her question that, Bira decides to reply by saying that her affection gets on her nerves and she really hates her. Hestia does not like to hear that and says that they are meeting again for the first time in thoughts and years, and she is saying that. Haruheim is surprised to see that she has the two of them in the palm of her hand. Bira then says that she cannot really tell a lie. While Haruheim wonders what she means by that, Hestia bluntly says that Bira is a weird one. She answers any question she is asked, but even if her answer is true, she definitely messes with people's minds and makes them doubt themselves. All without telling a lie, which is why she earned her nickname, the Malicious Truth Teller. Upon hearing that, Bira says that it is still such a nasty nickname that every time she hears it, it is always the ones with the biggest persecution complexes who whine the loudest. When she is asked why she keeps on doing it, she agrees to answer and says that it is more fun that way. She hates being bored just as much as she hates being given orders. Upon hearing that, Haruheim thinks that if she is Tarvi's patron goddess, then she would know why she had that smile. However, she then plans to ask Tarvi directly, but she is unable to make up her mind. Suddenly, Bira gets quite close to her and says that it looks like she wants to ask her something and that she cannot lie to a goddess. Haruheim trembles out of hesitation, and so Bira calls her a coward and says that she can bet that she already knows the answer anyway. At the same time, it starts snowing. Tarvi is happy to see the snow and says out of excitement that she wanted to see the snow with her one more time. Wondering what Bira means, she already knows the reason for the unease she is feeling. Haruheim asks Tarvi to meet again. She says that with her permission, she will come to visit her country. Once the winter has passed and a bountiful spring has begun to bloom, they shall meet again. However, Tarvi interrupts Haruheim in between and says that this is it for her. While heading towards the carriage, she says that in her homeland, her name Tarvi means winter and winter cannot last into spring. Therefore, she cannot see the next spring. As she says that it is okay, she enters her carriage. Suddenly, something clicked in Haruheim's heart and she was stunned as she recognized that smile very well. When she had accepted everything and given up on everything, it was the same as that time. While Tarvi says goodbye to Haruheim while leaving, Haruheim shouts and asks her to wait, but they continue to leave. While sitting in the carriage, Tarvi just cries out loud while saying warm and brilliant like spring itself, she is glad that she was able to meet her. As Tarvi proceeds to leave the country in her carriage, Ladari looks at her from above a building. Now that she leaves, it is time for Ladari's last job in this noisy town. Belle and Layu finally reach there and find Tarvi leaving in her carriage. They try to make it in time, but they are again stopped by the knights and Ascali. Haruheim then comes to Belle and says that she knows the meaning of that smile of Tarvi. It is the look of someone who has given up. As she asks what will happen to Tarvi once she returns to her country, Bira tells her that Tarvi will be sacrificed in the next ritual to be carried out. Basically, she is going to die. Haruheim breaks down upon hearing that. Hestia bursts out of anger and says that she would like an explanation of what she means there. Bira then says that it is really annoying but time is up since their leader is quite angry. At the same time, Ascali asks Bira if she could move back. He then asks his good friends of Arario if they can request them to leave their parting at that. He says that he would prefer them to forget what they heard and they will leave them as the same good friends as they met on that journey. Belle then asks him what are they planning to do to Tari. Ascali gets serious and says that it has nothing to do with outsiders. He then says that he implores them and he does not wish to resort to violence. Thinking that she is a friend and all the more reasons they cannot sit back and let that happen, Belle asks Take Mikazuchi where was Tari's carriage headed. They then head towards the north gate to rescue Tari. Ascali also orders the knights to not let them go. Liu asks Belle to go first while they stop them. While running towards the north gate, Belle hears Ladari say that he had warned him. While Belle feels uneasy, Ladari suddenly attacks him with his sword from above but Belle manages to block his attack. Ladari then says that they finally meet again since he had a feeling that it would come to this. Ladari is the last person Belle wanted to run into in such a time. Belle asks him if he knew that Tari is going to be sacrificed. Ladari tells him that he of course knew it and even if it is just for appearance, he is still Beltane's vice captain. When Belle asks him why is it so, Ladari says that the girl was born for the sake of the country. Take Mikazuchi wonders what he means that Tari was created for the sake of their family. Ladari then says that it is why he has to protect her. Belle tries to comprehend it as Tari was created and Ladari has to protect her so she can be sacrificed. Belle does not understand it and wonders if that can even be called protecting her. Ladari says that there is a distance of 4 steps between them and tells them to stop there and not go beyond that point since past that is Beltane's problem. He takes his stance and says that if he inserts himself into their country's affairs then he will cut him down. Belle knows that he is serious about that and wonders if they are really that much of a problem to them. Belle then thinks that they might be doing wrong if Tari thought that too. When Belle turns around, Haruheim requests him by saying that in the past, when she decided to be sacrificed and gave up on everything, deep down, she prayed that someone would save her. Even if they do not know the situation, Haruheim knows the feeling of being a sacrifice so she does not want to stop moving. Belle asks her to lead him with her strength since he trusts her and heads towards Ladari to fight him. Haruheim then prays for Belle to lend him her strength by praying that power and the vessel, breath of wealth and breath of wishes, until the bell tolls, bring forth glory and illusion. As soon as she says Uchide no Kazuchi, Belle feels like his level has gone up and believes that he can defeat Ladari with it. Ladari calls them a fool and the fight between him and Belle begins. Take Mikazuchi on the other hand wonders how can Belle still not break through even with his abilities boosted to level 4. He realizes that Ladari's reactions are too fast and having lost his vision, his other senses have been honed to transcendent levels. In between their fight, Ladari asks Belle if he has got another trick up his sleeves and tells him to quit acting big and hit him with it. Belle wonders if Ladari could tell he still has Argonaut to use. Belle also knows that he cannot actually win if he does not go all out. Belle then plans to charge the firebolt which will create an opening when he fires, so charging into the knife and hitting him with it directly is all that he can do now since he does not want to let Tari die. However, Belle's plan fails since Ladari makes him lose his knives. Ladari then says that even if he managed to take the lady away, if she is not sacrificed, if she does not return to Beltane then all the people of Beltane will die. He continues by saying that at the cost of one person's life, everyone else can be saved and that is their curse. He then asks them if they still think the lady is wishing for someone to save her after knowing that. Haruheim breaks down and so Take Mikazuchi takes her in his arms. Belle hallucinates a lot of hands coming towards him as Ladari asks him if he can bear that weight. Suddenly, he sees Ladari attacking him and everything blacks out. After a while, Belle finally wakes up and finds himself lying on Hesja's lap. She is glad to see that he finally woke up. While he tries to get up, Hesja asks him not to move yet. Belle sees everyone injured and Hesja tells him that they lost. Belle then says to her that he hesitated. If he was in her place and if he could save everyone's lives at the cost of his own then he might have just chosen that. He thought that it might be okay as long as everyone else could be happy. Suddenly, Hesja says that it is not funny at all, not in the least. While getting up, she says that they came down to the mortal realm in search of things unknown to them. She is bored of that sort of hackneyed trope. She then says that if he died in order to save her then that would be more painful than living. The people left behind will live carrying that sadness in their hearts for the rest of their lives. Belle then apologizes for saying something strange and asks what can he do for everyone to be happy. Hesja then says to him that he was just whining like a baby and now he is trying to think how to help others. She tells him that he worries more about everyone else than he does about himself. She pokes him with her finger and he falls back while saying that it turned into a disaster.